So this is just an update on my pond series. So the past few weeks I have been filming. As of right now, May 29th, it is super low. This is the only piece of water that's left out of everywhere. So let's recap just what I filmed in the past few weeks and then we'll get back to right now. Hello, this is Life of Linda Lee and I'm just back again at my local vernal pond. Now, I was here about 2 weeks ago when all the frogs were breeding. Most of the eggs have been laid and the tadpoles are hatching. Already within the 2 weeks, this pond has dried up so much. I'm actually standing on one of the islands that I could not get to. Because there's plenty of garter snakes out, most of the frogs are hiding in the trees now as they can't really be down by the shore because all the snakes are hunting them. Snakes are all really fattened up since they came out of hibernation. This is the first year I've seen so many of these snakes here. Yesterday there was dozens of them, not doing mating balls yet, but already it's about 9-10 in the morning. There's a ton out, all sunning themselves. Gonna have to let her go. Oh, it's okay. There you go. There you go, honey. Be free.
I spent a while looking at snakes, observing and holding them. Then it was time to find some frog spawn. The year before, they had made this water flow drain connecting to the Anderson Creek. I hate it. My friend was here at the time they dumped the rocks and sand. She had just caught tons of froglets in that area and watched them all get covered. Many ponds have been connected to control flooding. It is a great way for invasive bass and sunfish to travel to other areas. Thankfully, this pond gets bone dry so no fish can inhabit it, but that's not the case for many other ponds around this area.
I just brought a margarine container, my 2 sizes of pink nets, and what I'm going to be doing is just scooping in the weeds. So I've gotten 2 tadpoles, but what I've noticed is they're so small, I think that most are going to be going through the holes in my net. So I'm going to take my little finer net and do some more scooping. So these little guys are so tiny right now, it's hard to film. And there's so many copepods and crustaceans in the water. There's Daphnia and other guys with long antennae. If you didn't know, tadpoles don't just eat algae. When they get bigger, they will actually start feasting on these copepods, which helps them grow super fast. And within 2 weeks, these guys will be triple or even quadruple the size they are now. And that's why I can't miss 1 week of filming, because so much happens with these guys' development in a few weeks. It's basically like soup, copepod soup in here. Here's a bigger guy.
Frog eggs were plentiful and in different stages of development, the newer ones being perfect spheres and the more developed ones being full wiggly crescents. In perfect conditions, it could take only a few days for these eggs to hatch. My mission was to find some long-toed eggs or newts. Rough-skinned newts lay one singular egg at a time and are hidden pretty well. I have only ever found one in this pond, and sadly, it was fully dead and white. As for long-toed eggs, I've had experience finding eggs in other ponds, but never this one. I scooped around to see if maybe the salamanders had hatched already, but didn't have much luck. I ended the day with shots of a bajillion frog eggs, happy that breeding season had been successful. The tadpoles had sure grown, and so had the foliage. Little pools were left with trapped tadpoles that were developing quickly due to the warm temperature of the water. I scooped around in the muck, picking up leaves to capture the tadpoles, a small amount having teeny tiny developing back legs. I was able to film me flipping a Sally larvae, who was hiding under a sunken log. If a log is flipped slowly, they tend to not scare and hold still. The salamander larvae had both back and front legs, unlike frogs, whose back legs develop first. Salamander larvae grow their front legs first, and very quickly after hatching, compared to tadpoles. Finding some hefty long-toed salamander larvae, my hypothesis is the newt larva must be way more elusive and way less plentiful, as I only have ever caught a few in guild form in this vernal pond, only finding newt Fs when the water completely dries up and they are forced to metamorph. giant water beetle larvae were everywhere. These carnivores munch on aquatic insects and tadpoles. This giant water beetle larva was getting ready to pupate. All beetles have a larval stage like butterflies, pupating before they turn into winged adults.
That was what happened over the past about a month and a half. So since then, pond is now dry, the tadpoles are just starting to form legs, and the salamander larvae are also hatching out. The snakes have pretty much all disappeared. The best time to find garter snakes is obviously early spring when they all come out to fatten up and breed. So that's kind of over now. Sometimes you'll find them in the early mornings just to kind of sun themselves, but they're pretty much doing their own snaky thing now rather than being in giant mating clumps or on the verge of. So we're just taking some scoops in the water, looking at all the tadpoles that are all condensed in this tiny little place. And any week, I think in a week or two, we're going to start having little froglets and little salamander Fs crawling out. Wow, look at how big they're all getting.
Almost all the tadpoles were now super large, and the legs now twice the size they had been the last time I saw them. The long-toed larvae were more elusive this day, and it took a while to find some.
So, I've just been digging around in the muck for a while on that side. Well, they don't seem to like that side. All the leaves are piled up here and just scooping through this down, brown, dead leaves.
Salamander larvae hide under leaves and logs, feeding on anything they can get their mouths on. As they get older, they start to occasionally surface just to grab a gulp of air in their developing lungs. The big fuzzy ear-looking appendages on the salamander's head are its gills. Unlike fish who have internal gills, salamanders have external gills that they lose when they become land-dwelling adults. They are adorable creatures to watch and observe, and when viewed from above, look see-through and almost like gummy candy. But it was now time to let these guys go back into the wild.
And there you guys go. That's everything that has been going on with my local vernal pond. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you have any questions on the species of animal or about amphibians, comment below. Give this video a like, feel free to subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you guys all soon.